Hey people, one of my donators had asked me about Abaddon, so this goes out to you. And so Abaddon is the Hebrew for Apollyon in the Greek, and it's spelled here Abdun, and it means the destroyer. And you can see in the New Testament in Revelations, an angel called Abaddon is described as the king of an army of locusts. His name is first transcribed in Greek, Revelations 9:11, whose name is in Hebrew is Abaddon, a name that means destruction, as Abaddon, and then translated, which in the Greek means the destroyer, Apollyon. And so this is some old art of the Christian and Apollyon. And back then Christians used to carry their sword and shield and their helmet and were ready for war. So I found this in Esther 9. The Jews destroyed their enemies, and I found several very strange things here. But I was looking for more words that mean spread. In that movie yesterday I showed you where they give the word push to mean spread. And they also give press, as in P-R-E-S-S. That also means spread, as in to spread the news. And then I ran into this one, the walk, E-W-L-K. The walk also means spread. And you see the same word here became increasingly. So yeah, it's increasing. It's the spread. We don't want you walking around because you might spread the disease. It shows this word comes up 86 times, and they give it all kind of meanings, but it also gives walking and go and am and take and coming and going and grew, walks, crawls. It could mean just anything they want. Followed, went, came. And King James, he's always crazy. He says it's that thou goest. But yeah, that's closer to walk than a lot of them. On, growing. But you see, these words are different. This one doesn't have the W. They put them in the same category. Grew, waxed. And so I believe the walk here is the correct one. And the elk, E-L-K, is just something they're trying to hide, because it's in the elect, E-L-K, elect, the like. You elect the one you like. But yeah, it shows it here in Esther 4 as the spread, waxed, became. And so waxed is spreading, you know. When the moon is waxing, it's getting bigger. It's the new moon waxes and gets bigger. And then after it's full, it starts to wane, waxing and waning. So the first strange thing I found was when these 10 sons of Haman were to be hung. These 10 sons of Haman all have a wall that goes in their name. 10 walls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I haven't seen this anywhere else in the Bible. I run into these walls, but I've never run into them after every what. What wall, what wall, what wall. What wall? And so this is a genius piece of poetry that incorporates all that. But what's even more stranger than that is this word Abaddon, the destroyed. And it comes up here as the destruction, to Abaddon, and of the sword, and with slaughter and destruction, Abaddon. And so this is in Esther 9:5. But if you look over here in the Greek, I was kind of curious as what they would do about all those walls in the Greek. And I know that they often let you know the walls coming up with this ton, T-O-N. You usually see it where before a hyphen where the next word reads backwards. And so this ton T may even mean there's a wall at every end here, because you don't see them here. But what was really strange is this Abaddon, when I was looking for their Apollyon over here, they just went from 9.4 to 9.6. They totally left this line out. They didn't want to mess with it. But you will see a similar word over here in the second line, Apollonto. 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 This the enemies of the Jews were the archon, the rulers. What we understand is the Jews, they were the rebels, and they were rebelling against the archon. And so the Greek is the archon, and so these books are opposite. And so the Hebrew book was trying to give us the knowledge to fight against the archon, and the Greek book was trying to replace that with, they were trying to replace it with a fairy tale and destroy all the Hebrew books, but they couldn't get it because, you know, we've been lied to about the printing press, and that's why the push and the press and the walk all means to spread. And they were pushing this word around a long time ago, and they lied to us about the old printing press. And you can see that right here, to grammata, to graphin two. You know, the grammata is the letters, and the graph is what you place all those letters in a printing press. You know, they're in a graph. And so I'm going to start down here at the bottom at 32 where it has this word Esther, and it's A-S-T-R. Starts with an A, so it reads backwards. It means rights, R-T-S, rights. And so it's, and from word, A-M-R is the word all the way through the Bible. Yammer, lammer, whammer, all words meaning a type of word, a cry, a question, or a command. And from word rights, fies, through vary, the prize. Hail, when cut in, when KTB, when cut in cipher, NBNSPR, in the cipher, in the book, when cut in cipher. So this first line in the Hebrew is talking about raising the devil, and it's way longer than the Greek. You see, the Greek it just is in the 12th month, 13th day of Adar, and at hand the letters written by the king. But there's a lot more to it here in the Hebrew, and they're talking about raising the devil, but it's in poetry like the rest of the Bible. And you can see that they try to read it the same way I do. And, Vav means and B means in. And then SNI, they say, means two. And then this M at the end, read as an S, usually means plural. So that would be and in twos. But what it says is, and in signs as roads, who shed hoods ride. And in signs as roads, R-H-D-S, as roads. You see here, as roads, who, the connected power, life connected power, who, W-H-O, who, and then this tack, as we read this backwards, shed, S-H, shed, H-D-S, shed hoods. Starts with A, it reads backwards, R-D, ride. And then in shall use, B, in, shin with the dot on the H side, S-H-L, shall, U-S-E. And shall use, and you see this number 3, they give, a ton of words in number 3. Anything with a S-L, you know, they'll say is 3, but this isn't even the same word. You see that's missing the U here, the Vav after the L. But this is all the words they give the meaning 3 over here. They even use the word for days for 3, jimmies. And shall use as reuse into, boo. B is in, vav is to, into. And so they're writing this poetry to rhyme with the who and the boo and the would to and the saber too. So I did a movie a year or two ago about the scout language, and that's a good place to start to understand this writing. But that's what it's saying. And in the signs as roads, who shed hoods ride. And who shed hoods is the ones that they took off their hood. I'm no longer riding for the king. They're deserters. And they and shall use as reuse into. They're reusing the signs. They're writing messages on the road signs, to let those know who follow behind them. And in signs as roads, who shed hoods ride. And shall use as reuse into. Raise the Gaia, the earth. To raise the earth. Through in first, DBR, Dever. To raise the Gaia, Dever. To claim, KLME reads backwards. To claim them like. Would too. This is rhyming with this boo. To raise the earth through in first, claim them like would too. And lee as what? Lee means downwind or past. The lee is what? By use, raise, saber to. SBR, vav, to. The saber could raise the saber to. In the past is what? By use, raise, saber to. In their past, before they shed their hoods, in their past, they rode with the saber of the king. Ivy. Starts with A and reads backwards. The ivy. IVY. Those in the Ivy League. Your rulers. As your enemies are your rulers. Same as today. Your rulers are the enemy. The ivy. And then this word for Jews, they got this. This is not the word for Jews. Jew is the word for Lord. It means you. YEWE. This is not Jews. This is ivy. EY. They. EU. Who. DIS. They who dies. And I did a movie, I think I stuck Gary's picture on the front of it in a tie-dye shirt, and it explains that back in the day, the dyes and the drugs were all the same company. They all belonged to the 13th, was they who dies. The ivy, they who dies. And that's because the dyes and the drugs were the same. They'll use the same words when they're mixing dyes. They'll call them drugs. The lesser drugs and the better drugs. When I cook up my love potion, I order a batch of red dye. You can see it here, the 10 and the 3. The 13th company. But you can see it here in this movie. Looks like this. And it's been several years ago, so there's probably some things that have changed since then that I've learned. But I left links to all these books and ancient encyclopedias that talk about the dye. And you can see that the dyers of London make the 13th company, and it was the same in France. And if you Google the Britain 13th company, it's strange that it's the red dye, that the East India Company comes right up here on the top page, because that's what they was all about. They was the dye, the drug smugglers. But this is a good movie to watch. I haven't watched it in a while. I'm sure there's some things wrong But it surely explains why they had to change all these writings, why they had to hide it. But yeah, this definitely doesn't say 13. They were trying to force these meanings over the writings that they got from the Greek and from the Latin. But they knew that 13 belonged in here because it was the 13th company. Ivy, they who dies of shall with in this when the puck who raise is let to. And so when the puck who raise, this your word puck, old English, Middle English from pook, and it's a goblin or a demon. Old Norse is the devil. To raise the devil, a mischievous farrier, a hostile goblin, a billy goat in Ireland. The billy goat. That's why Moses always has horns in the picture. You know, the Ireland, the Irish are Jerusalem. Just replace that I with a J. The Irish is the Jerus. When the puck who raise is let to, this is El Tet, TH2, and this is the tet, the T that would be used in to let, is in to bleed somebody, is to let them, is let to, you know, is cut open and let to bleed. When the puck who raise is let to, they who dies, them, E-M-E, hema, this is them, but it's also the blood, the hemorrhaging. When they who dies, the blood, best, B-S-N-A-way, best nay this, best not this. It's not snay, S-N-A-Y, as they usually says hated, S-N-A-Y, but this is best not, N-A-Y, nay, is the same word for no all through the Bible, except they'll put it backwards, the A-I-N, but it's the naya, nay. I got all nays here, not. Best not do it. Best not this. So let me try to read this all together one time. And in signs is roads who shed hoods ride, and shall use as reuse into. The raise the Gaio dever claim them like would too. They would like to claim all of the earth at every claim them like would too. They want to claim the whole earth. Lee as what by use raise saber to. In their past they used to raise the saber to. The ivy, they who dies of shall with in this when the puck who raise is let to. When the devil who raise is let to. They who dies, blood, best not this. Best not be messing with it. This is the puck and Abaddon, the puck, the devil to raise an Abaddon. And this is they who ride, who shed hoods, who in their past rode with the saber. Alright, I'm going to cut this off here, and I'll leave the link to that tie-dye movie, and I believe a lot of them links are there underneath it. And I'm not sure about the links on the Scout language, but that's a good thing to read up on, finding books on the Scout language. I think I left some links on some of my movies back there, and read up on that Scout language and how the Scout language works, and It'll give you a better clue of how this ancient language, this ancient English was put together. All right, good day.